Hey everybody, welcome Johnny and the Greg on a Monday. So if you guys made it through your Monday, congrats. Sit back, relax,
Yeah.
chill with us. Chill with us.
Take a load off.
Yeah. If you guys, while we're talking, would like to like and subscribe and share, that would be fantastic. Greg, who are we partnered by today?
Well, we're partnered with Audible. So if you would like audiobooks, hundreds of upon thousands, heaps, piles, a smorgasbord of audiobooks, then you can have it by partnering with us. You get 30 days free. Go to audibletrial.com/JATG. Start downloading you some books, some good stories, whatever your heart desires. And, if you want to learn about stuff, there's nonfiction in there. If you want a good mystery, there's that. If you want stories about magic and wizards or people with laser swords and spaceships, it's all on there, man. And you can get that for 30 days, totally free. Whatever buy you keep, it is totally yours. You never have to give it back. And you can get that by going to audibletrial.com/JATG.
Hey, and if you're lucky, you'll actually get sound effects like whoosh,
You do
like that.
Actually, those, I don't know if we can actually say the name of those, but those are like fully sound effect
Yeah.
novels. Yeah, they're pretty good.
I actually was totally bullshitting. I didn't know if that happened.
No,
or not,
I like those. Those are fun.
Yeah, of course.
They're mostly fun. I would say there are some that are hit and miss, but the novelizations of the movies, especially like the prequels and the middle ones that we grew up with, I think those are fun.
Yeah, I actually listened to a podcast that's true crime. It's just one of those things I do.
Mhm.
And sometimes they put a sound effect in when you don't need to put a sound effect in. We don't need to hear what a stab sounds like, and so when you're sitting there listening to it and you get emotionally involved in your story like this, oh, this poor lady, she got stabbed 16 times. They like go,
oh,
and you're like, okay, I get it. Yep. I don't understand what stabbed is. Stop. Or they get like the worst one I ever heard was one like they were like, and he choked her and she's like, and I'm like, oh my God, why are we doing this? Like, no, you don't need to put that sound effect in there. I understand what choking is.
There's a story going back to the filming of the second Lord of the Rings film where
the Two Towers,
yes.
Okay.
So it was the Two Towers, and Christopher Lee, who played Saruman.
Yes.
Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the film in the past 20 years, he gets stabbed and in the film. And so he kept making this sound. And then the director, Peter Jackson, came over. He's like, well, Christopher, what I really would like you to do is, make this kind of sound, because I think that's more indicative of a man who would be stabbed. That's the kind of sound he would make. And Christopher Lee, has this great background where he was a Nazi hunter during World War II, like an MI6.
Yeah, he's a badass.
He was a badass. Absolutely, he was.
Yeah.
And so he went to Peter Jackson. He's like, excuse me, Peter, do you know the sound a man makes when he gets stabbed? Because I
probably looked at him with like those eyes.
Yeah, just like, oh, he knows the sound a man makes when he gets stabbed in the back unexpectedly.
Yeah.
And Peter Jackson went, all you.
Yeah.
Just all you. Left it alone.
Yep. All you. Yeah. When you told that story before, and I looked up Christopher Lee after that.
Yeah,
holy shit.
Awesome.
Yeah. He also has, I guess he had quite an extensive occult library that he said he was protecting from the world.
Yeah.
Because he said that some of the stuff that I've collected, if you read it, it would melt your mind.
Yeah.
I actually believe that dude. I believe that guy.
He was very into like British metal, even into like his.
What do you mean, like hard rock, like punk rock?
No, like metal, like
a blacksmith.
No, like a metal band. Like,
oh, okay, yeah.
I don't mean like punk rock, but I mean it was like dark metal, like.
Oh,
really? Yes.
Like
scream mode, like black metal. And he was in a band until like his 70s, I believe.
No kidding.
Yeah, just a really eccentric,
interesting guy.
Yeah.
Interesting guy. Too bad we couldn't get him on. God rest his soul. Yeah. So we don't have really anything on the agenda today. So this might not be long, or this might be super long, depending on where the topic takes us.
If there is a topic that you would like us to discuss, just go ahead and throw it in the chat, and we will see where we go with it.
Yeah. But we were talking before we were online, and we said, well, how don't we stop talking about this? Because this is definitely a podcast thing.
Yeah.
So my wife and I have a guilty pleasure. We like to watch those train wreck shows where they hide in the disguise of, oh, hey, we're trying to bring two singles together and make it happily ever after. And it's not designed for that. It's designed to create as much conflict
Trash
as
reality.
possible.
It
Yes.
is trash reality shows.
Trash reality, and we love it. I'm not going to apologize for it. So we're watching this, and they're doing some sort of pictures because they just got married, and they did something kind of similar to what you did on your wedding day in terms of a picture, where you were sitting, you were holding your wife Krista, and you were on a pier, right?
Yes.
You're on a pier, and it looked like the pier was either sinking or just about to collapse.
The water was super high at the lake we were at.
Yeah. Okay. It looked dangerous is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It didn't look like a very, like, if you drop her, that's going to ruin the wedding day type thing.
Oh, and that was actually an interesting part because, our photographer's like, she was trying to catch it so that the waves would actually cover the pier. So it would just look like we were standing in water. And she, we were out there for probably 10 minutes and she's like, nope, lean back, turn your head, get it, whole thing.
Yeah.
But this was at our reception. And so during that time, there were people up on the shoreline.
Yeah.
And it became like an auctioneer. They were shouting out bids for me to just
toss her.
Well, yeah, like
or just both of you guys just fall back.
Yeah, to just go back.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The back is it's a lake behind Greg. And he's like this far from like stepping off the pier, right?
It looks that way. Yeah. I was on a little bit more solid ground than that. I'm going to try to actually bring it up. So
my wife found it on your Facebook, by the way.
So well, I know where it is in my albums, but so people were starting to shout out some pretty high numbers, and we were set. We were set for a honeymoon in Vegas, and part of me is I'm like, well, I'm already married. It's not like she's
gonna divorce
me a couple hours in.
Could be a rough honeymoon though.
Because I mean, she was very much. She's like, don't you dare! Like it was, and it was. I'm like, no, sweetheart, I'm not gonna do that. Of course, I'm not gonna do that. All right, let me share the picture here.
Until somebody goes 500.
5. See, that's the picture, and
there you go. Look at this stud, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this stud, because I couldn't have done this.
I love that I still have this like very chiseled jaw, the whole jaw right there. You can see it. So yeah, the idea was like we're taking this great picture, and I mean you said 500. That was probably one of the lowest bids.
Okay.
It got up. I think when we hit $5,000, and keep in mind she's 6 months out. She's 6 months out of college. I'm still in college.
Yeah,
like I'm still working on my teaching degree, and we get to that point where I'm just like, babe.
Yeah.
Like
maybe we should think about this.
Yeah. And we got married on the cheap for sure. I'm like, that takes care of a lot of our wedding bill.
Yeah.
That's a good chunk. Yeah. And ultimately the answer is no, I did not do it. But I mean, she was very worried about the wedding dress and everything.
Of course.
And I'm like, hey, if we're at like $6,000, we can get that thing cleaned. Professionally cleaned. It won't be a problem anymore.
Yeah.
So that was, and she was definitely afraid I was going to do it, but
it's an awesome picture. It's one of those pictures where like, that's a great shot.
Yeah. We have it framed. It's not hanging at the moment, but we I think that was one of the first Christmas gifts of my married life from my mom. She had that blown up and framed.
Yeah.
And
great picture. So I was talking about it with Ursula, and she didn't remember this ever seen that picture, and I thought I pointed it out to her. But anyway, we found it on Facebook, and she started scrolling through your wedding, like as all girls do. And she goes
acceptable.
Yeah, she goes, wow, look at that. Look, he looks very militaristic. Look at him. Like, and so she was very She was surprised because, like I was saying to you,
he hadn't met me at all. Like I didn't even have hair
you're right
when I met her. So,
so she doesn't know that Greg.
No, she doesn't. She's never met this motherfucker.
This motherfucker. Yeah, look at that guy. That's that's the one she kept looking at. She kept going like, look at that. Look at it doesn't even look like Greg. That's what she was saying.
That dude, God.
Yeah, there's Superman right there, folks. There he is. Look at him.
Yep. I was.
And then, like I like to say, whiskey, coffee, Wisconsin weather, and bad choices, man. And the next thing you know.
Well, and what's funny is I don't know if I have a picture of it on here. I can look, but definitely like this picture you can't tell, but from the back it was going. We've told the bald story on here before.
Yep.
But it was at this event. It was my wedding that I went back and we watched the video the next day, and you could see how bare it was getting in the back. And I was like, is it really like that? And she's like, well, yeah, it's, you're getting pretty thin back there. And I immediately got up, grabbed my clippers, and
that was it.
And that was, I've been either short. Yeah, I've been pretty short since then. It took me about another year, I think, before I started like cold steel shaving it. But
and so we started talking about how, look, man, that sucks because I know I looked a certain way when I was younger, and I don't look that way anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of look like right now, look like Willie Nelson.
Yeah, I noticed you got like the hair kind of.
I have a little bit. I have a tiny little ponytail.
Oh my God, look at that.
Yeah, I just didn't want to fucking do anything with it today.
Jesus.
So I just threw a ponytail in the back. Maybe it's because I'm doing too much of this. I don't know.
Maybe that could be. That definitely could be.
Just kidding. No, I'm just playing with shit. I'm playing with my hair, seeing what I can do, what I can't do, because I don't think I'm going to have a lot of it left. But that's like I was saying. I fully have come to a point in my life. I was telling Greg that I don't think I'm ever getting a 6-pack back, and I've accepted it to the point of, well, that's okay. It's okay with me. It's all right. I don't have a 6-pack anymore. And you said something that I thought was absolutely true. Most women actually don't want you to have a 6-pack.
No. Yeah. I mean, I think there are a
very few.
Well, there's women out there that, I mean, certainly they like to look at.
Yeah, the eye candy portion of it, yes.
But fuck, so do I. I mean, it's like you look at it and like, that's a good looking dude. And he's ripped. I mean, men like looking at other really ripped up dudes. I remember being in high school looking at like Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah, men's fitness isn't bought by women.
No, like Muscle and Fitness, where dudes were just like looked like they got balloons on them, but I'm like, oh, that's so cool. No, I mean, you look at polls taken by various women's websites or whatever, but women for the most part, they want a dude that's they can snuggle with and not feel like they've got their head rested on a piece of granite.
Yes. Yes. And I have a reason for I have a theory for that. I think it's because they don't want their spouse to be the one that's better looking. I'm just saying it. I think it adds maybe a pressure. Maybe it's a subliminal pressure that they feel they have to keep up. And I don't think they like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like that. Like I've never looked at my wife and thought, damn, I need to keep up.
Well, she is better looking than you. I'm just going to throw.
Well, yeah. I'll kick my coverage for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I've never felt that way. And she's told me times that she has felt that way, not with me, but in general, that she had to keep up somewhere. But I think a lot of women deal with that just simply because of the way that they're portrayed.
Certainly my wife and I have had that conversation where, especially in the last couple years, well, I'd say the past like 6 to 7 years when I was super heavy and then dropped down to just being Wisconsin heavy. And that was like when she's like, well, you're losing all this weight. You grew out a beard. You're looking really good kind of stuff.
You're meeting people. What the fuck?
Well, yeah. Well, and then I started traveling for work, and I'd go to these
Right, yeah.
conferences, and I meet people, and she's coming from like when she was in her 20s, and she would go to these big business conferences in like Vegas and stuff, and like people were hooking up left and right.
Yeah.
And she's like, there are people that go to these things. It's like whatever
she would forecast a
the
terrible
state
scenario.
Well, yeah, she would. She
Yeah,
would, you know.
yeah.
And you hear the movies like Hall Pass, or where they're discussing
Right, yes.
their top 10 list, or the
or that my
the
favorite
state
line,
boundary.
Yes, that's such a bullshit.
Yeah,
Well,
it's total
not
bullshit.
Yeah, it's not in the state, so it's okay. That's such bullshit.
Yeah, that doesn't hold any water.
Yeah.
But I mean,
yes,
we know people that
we should.
Like, they're like, oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, why? How does that even enter your mind?
I know.
And so she would be like, well, what if someone comes on to you? I'm just like, I tell them I'm married and be like, hey, I'm married. Let's just have a drink and good to meet you.
Have a drink, and I'm gonna go home and watch The Office.
Yeah,
I'll go to my room and watch The Office. Yeah.
So, so I think she did have a spell where she was feeling like, you know,
I think everybody,
like,
if they're honest with themselves, everybody's had those moments.
Well, and I mean, I just had a birthday last week,
and
I have entered my mid 40s. By the way, 44 to 46 is still mid 40s. I'm not in.
Good. I got 1 year left.
Yeah, you're still 1 year left. We're there. But that idea of like you're getting older, and I see it all the time now. Like people are like, you know, posting in their 30s. I saw one today. It's like if you were a kid and you fell off the roof and you're like, no, I'm good. And now you just sleep weird and you're like, oh my God, I'm broken.
Yeah. That age is a bitch.
Yeah.
It sucks. I mean, and I'm not going to go into all that diatribe of fitness and nutrition. I'm just saying it has a lot to do with the way you feel. But anyway, it sucks. Getting old sucks. It's not that fun. But I think you have to be okay with it.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't feel the pressure of staying good looking or not. And again, you're talking to a guy who never considered himself to be good looking.
Right, but you're the only one that never considered that. I've had people.
I know. That's the dysmorphia piece for me.
Okay.
But yeah, that idea of like having to keep up, like with either the
Joneses or
I was gonna say like what the media says.
Yes,
you should be.
Yes.
Keeping up with that or having that pressure to.
Right.
I had an interesting conversation with a friend of ours recently who moved out to California in the past year. I mean, and she's young. She's like in her early 20s and did I'm going to move to California and see what it is.
Yeah.
And she said, it's interesting because in California, people would judge what you look like on the outside, but they really are, as long as you're okay on the inside, you're good.
Yeah.
So like maybe you do need to work out a little bit more, but hey, you're struggling with, depression, you're in therapy, you're taking medications or all these other things. She's like, everybody's like, hey man, no problem. Like, let's get, as long as you're happy with yourself, that's good. And they're very supportive of you, like emotionally and things like that, where physically they're like, are you sure you want to order the extra patty on their burger kind of deal? We're out here. Yeah.
Oh,
well, and she's like, it's not really overt, but it's just, it's the judgment of what people would be like, oh, well, he could stand to lose a few pounds kind of thing.
Yeah.
But they're like, but as long, if he's happy with himself, good for him.
Okay.
Where out here in that upper Midwest, people are much more accepting of how you look on the outside because it's the upper Midwest and they don't want to be California pretty.
Yeah.
But they will completely judge you with how you are on the inside.
Yeah, they will.
Where it's like, oh, somebody's out jogging at 10 in the morning on a Sunday. Guess they didn't get to church today. Kind of something like that.
Yeah, they're finding a reason why they shouldn't be out there running or why. Yeah.
Or wherever you are politically or with social topics.
I think it's hard in the upper Midwest because there's a good chunk of the year that we're kind of like batten down the hatches.
Bundled up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
bundled up and stuff. And there have been some times where it's really, really snowy out. I'm like, I ain't running.
Yeah.
I know mostly I don't run anymore. God, I sound older when I say that. I don't run anymore. And I know it's because I don't run the correct way to where stuff is not supposed to hurt. That hurts.
Yeah.
But
I always thought if you wanted to do if you were gonna get on the fitness train and really get after it and change yourself for the better, or for your mind in the better, that I would so want to do that from like fall to spring.
Yeah, the 100 days of summer, basically.
No.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it in summer. I want to do it in
the spring and the fall.
And where I'm wearing nothing but hoodies and everything else, where they might see a little bit of change in the face.
Yeah.
And then have my my she's all that moment where you go to the beach and then you strip something off and you're like, bam.
Yeah.
People are like, what happened? He used to be so chubby.
Yeah. It sucks though. It sucks looking back at pictures and you go,
yeah,
where'd that guy go? Fuck. Where did he go? I know feel like I'm still there, but I guess I'm not.
He's and he's totally still there. He's just under a nice warm layer of fat.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at.
Yeah. So
nice soft layer, good for cuddling.
Yeah, so that's my thing. So if anybody is under that pressure of, man, if I could get a 6-pack, she would hug me more. No, maybe not.
I remember like doing martial arts. And
your jeans might fit better, but
I mean, martial arts, we had nights where it was just ab night, and it was, setting up.
Well, with a martial art, core is,
it's huge. Yeah,
it's everything.
Every kick, everything was
right.
But we used to set up, the punching bags with the big plastic pedestals on them. We would do 10 down the room, and then we would go up the room and down the room, up one side of the bags, and it's nothing but abs. So you're doing. You're doing leg lifts at one, then you're doing like the over unders, and then you're doing plank, and then you're doing crunches. And so it's just one giant ab night.
Ab circuit.
Yeah. Yep. And that's really what it was. It was an ab circuit. And I remember I was in there. One of my martial arts buddies is a doctor. And I'd be like, after 2-3 years ago, I'm like, I don't know, man. I feel like there's something in there, but I just can't. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, I thought because he was starting to get like 6-packs and stuff like that, or like you could tell, maybe the top 2 were there. Yeah. I was like, I don't know. I just thought it would be more noticeable. Yeah. And he's like, come here once. And he's like, tighten up. So he tightened up, and then he punched me in the gut really hard.
Nothing. Right.
And I'm like, and I, breathe out like I'm supposed to. I'm like, yeah. He's like, dude, you've got abs in there. He's like, it's there. That's solid. Just because you have some calories covering it doesn't mean that they're not there.
That's a terrific way to look at it. I got calories.
Yeah. He's like, and he was like, it's fine. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
So,
what are you reading?
Comments. We got some people on that were hanging out with us for a little bit.
Welcome.
Talking about
what do you any questions for
no questions. Everybody's just kind of reacting, but we're low on
Willie Nelson here. On the road again. Did you ever get into Willie Nelson? I never did.
No, I never did. I remember
you're a music guy. I thought you would.
Well, certainly I can appreciate him, but I think it's partially like PTSD. My grandparents would listen to kind of that era of country a lot. And they would just put that on, and I'm like, oh, I can't do it. And this was, this is early 80s.
Yeah.
And Gran would put it on. So it was, I totally appreciate that dude for what he did for music and country, and just artist rights was a big thing with Willie Nelson. He actually used to show up to my hometown. There's a little campground out there. Yeah, I know. Totally weird, right? I learned about this decades later.
Is it secretly? Is Watertown? No, you didn't live at Watertown.
This was Broadhead. This was Broadhead.
You think Broadhead is secretly the center of the world and nobody knows it?
Yes, because I think it was for a long time. And I'll tell you why after I tell this story. And we do have a request for a spoiler-free Moon Knight reaction. We will get to that, Josh.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So the so yeah, Willie Nelson, there's a little campground called Camp Crazy Horse, and he used to like just load up his trailer and go out there just to like get away from everything. Like when he's on tour, when he's on break, he would just go out there. And the story I heard, could be wrong, excuse me, is that he just like rolled in and was like, "Hey man, can I pull my trailer in here?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." And then the owner later on was like, "Shit, I think that was Willie Nelson."
I think that's Willie Nelson.
And they went down and sure shit. He's like, he stayed there for like 2-3 weeks, just camping.
Yeah.
And just like, I love it here, man. This is a great little town. No one knows who I really am, and no one bothers me. And he was just hanging out. And I think he did that for like a handful of years.
Wow.
But to Broadhead being the nexus of the universe, we really thought that for a long time. My wife and I did, because so growing up, late high school, early college years, I worked at the video store, because video stores were a place where you needed to go to get movies. They didn't just come through your TV.
No.
Yeah. You had to like go get a cassette. It was called a VHS, and you'd rent it and you'd take it home. So I worked.
Do you remember those little fucking things they got to rewind your?
Oh yeah. If they came back on rewound, I would put them in. That we had a little like
automatic rewinder,
Lamborghini rewinder that we had to rewind the tape. So working there, I mean, and it was the only video store for like a good 20 miles, honestly.
Yeah.
And so all these other small towns, they would just come in, and everybody had their member number. And if they didn't have their number, I would look up their name and get their number. And then I grow up, I get married, and I'm in Jamaica, and sitting around the pool or the swim up bar, getting ripped, because that's what you do when you're in Jamaica, and it's an all-inclusive resort.
Right.
And somebody goes, "Hey man, are you the video store kid?"
Oh, no way.
And I look and I'm like, "Hey, I said, this could be weird. I don't know your name, but you're 246624. And and they're like, yeah. And they were from a town called Albany, which is not that far away from my hometown. And it was just like,
that's weird.
And so for a long time, I mean, we went to LA to visit
you kept
my
bumping
wife's
into
grandmother.
people from Broadhead.
Yep, up in Minnesota. Where else did we go? I mean, it just like everywhere we went.
Wow.
Somebody with a tie to Broadhead was there. And I'm like, this is like some kind of weird nexus of the universe. And because we are the only people with that last name in that town, everybody knew my parents.
Yeah.
And my mom has lived there most of her life. My grandpa was the sheriff or the chief of police for a while. Then he was the mayor. I mean, it was just like everybody knew. Like everybody had a contact. Yeah. That's how it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's actually cool. And not cool. Because I can see sometimes it would not be cool, but I think
you couldn't get away with anything.
Yeah, exactly.
In high school, couldn't get away with anything. But
I sometimes wonder business.
I sometimes wonder if, like, I'd be like 25 and people would call my mom and be like, "We saw Greg down at the bar at bar time."
Yeah.
Was he supposed to be down
there? Yeah.
Anyway,
Moon Knight.
I did get one little piece of info. My grandparents did not listen to Willie Nelson. It was Sonny James or Johnny Cash. That's probably true.
Johnny Cash.
Although I do like Johnny Cash.
Yeah. I can get down with Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much any of the best of. Like, I can get behind their best of.
I can get behind the best of Elvis.
Oh yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Really good stuff if you actually listen to it. Ray Charles too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Moon Knight.
Yeah, we had a request for our spoiler-free review of Moon Knight.
Spoiler-free.
Good luck with us being spoiler-free.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. I think it's very well done.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. I was always a fan of Moon Knight, but anytime I heard about anything happening, I kind of went, I mean, that's hard to pull off. This character's hard to pull off. And they've done some creative writing with it, but the way they were taking it, I really like it. again, you and I talked about this last week. I think everybody they got in their acting is fantastic. I think Oscar Isaacs, shame on you, Star Wars, for not using that guy.
They wasted that guy.
Yeah, for not using that guy. To his best abilities, what I'm trying to say. But I thought it was good. I think it's still good. It's that's one of the Disney Pluses that the minute it's out Wednesday night, we're at the TV at 6:00 watching Moon Knight. That's kind of like become a family thing. We were like that with WandaVision and Loki. The other ones I wasn't in a rush to get to. But
Wednesday nights are tough.
Yeah, they are.
I mean,
because I think they're moving it back to Friday now.
I would appreciate that if they did that on Friday.
Because Obi-Wan Kenobi's coming Friday, not this Friday.
That looks fantastic. No, that's in May. So I love Moon Knight so far. I mean, when people are like, we're only 2 episodes in, we are a third of the way in. I mean, when you think about it that way, it's like it's only 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Yes, Oscar Isaacs is killing it. I love that they're keeping the focus on him.
Yep.
Because everybody seems to be acting just around him, but at the same time, Ethan Hawke is. He's not doing a bad job, but I'm not saying that anybody else couldn't be in that role. Like if it was somebody
of course
other
not.
than Ethan Hawke, you'd go okay.
Yeah. The girl's kind of forgettable.
A little bit so far.
Yeah,
I think she might be.
Yeah.
I love his interactions with his coworkers. I mean, those are fantastic.
Yes. Those are really good. I am. Can I just say this real quick? I am such a fan of British slang.
I did. Yeah.
I love British slang because I'm also watching Peaky Blinders, and so I'm getting that too. So I've been walking around the house going, "Oh, bollocks," and all this because I love the way they say stuff. Like it just small little stuff like I can't think of anything right now, but anyway.
Well, there's because we watched a YouTube video with Oscar Isaacs and a British interviewer, British press, and they were going through like the slang. Like, did he learn the slang or is he like using it appropriately? And
he is, right?
In the show he is, but he couldn't remember some of them, like chuffed. If you're chuffed.
I don't know about that.
I think it means you're tired. I think that's what
chuffed. What a great, the best. I think it's the best insult that you can say to somebody. And in America, no one's going to think it's an insult. If I go, "Oh, you're a donut," no one's going to get offended by that. No one's going to get pissed off. They're going to go, "Of
course I'm a donut. Everybody loves me."
Yeah. Did you say a donut?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if somebody called me a donut in the middle of a heated argument, I'd almost think, "Oh, you're trying to relieve the tension."
Gordon Ramsay does that all the time. Wasn't he called people donuts
look that up
all the time.
He gets so emotional behind it. It's great.
Yeah. Donut. And I'm like, wow, okay, that's obviously an insult the way he's using it, but
right. But I remember that's what the guy said in when like where something happens at the museum and the next day they're going through the video and he goes, "Dude, you're a donut."
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I think it's a great scene.
That same interview I'm talking about, they're like, "So the show is based in London." And he's like, "Yes." He's like, "How much time did you actually spend in London?" He's like, 0. Like,
no shit.
None of that is London.
I thought
none of it is London.
I heard the same scenes, like the same set, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
Is the same set for the Multiverse of Madness.
If that is true, that's not in London.
Wow.
Because
they film in Atlanta, don't they?
The interview, well, yeah, some of Atlanta. I think some of the exteriors were Prague, and then that's Oscar Isaac is like, "Well, there's this thing called acting and imagination, so you just pretend that you're in London."
Yeah, he's a great actor. He's a great actor. You and I broke down a lot of his acting stuff in the last.
I had
podcast.
to question if he was American because he's doing so well.
Yes,
with the various British accents that he's.
I don't think he's American, is he? I thought he was.
He
Brazilian or Spanish.
Nope. Well, he's. There are. I read his bio. One of his parents is of Latin American.
Okay.
descent.
But he was born in America.
No, he was actually born, I think, in Spain.
Spain.
Maybe that's what I was born in Spain, but then
proves my point again.
Moved here at like a young age. So
no good actors are American made.
There's a few left, but
yeah. I just feel like even like Benedict Cumberbatch and Chris Hemsworth, when they speak with an American accent, it sounds better than us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn it.
We rewatched No Way Home last night. And
No Way Home. Spider-Man No Way Home?
Spider-Man No Way Home. Yep.
Oh, do you have it?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. You can buy it. And of course, my oldest daughter was on top of that right away the day it came out. She's like, can we get that right now? And so at the end of that film, where Stephen Strange is talking to Peter and telling him like these are the ramifications, and you're just like, damn, I mean, it's a Marvel film. You don't expect real great acting from a Marvel film.
Yeah,
you really
they're really good.
They are bringing their A game.
Yes.
And it's the same thing that he got. I mean, that same level of acting that he got nominated for an Oscar for Way of the Dog is what he's bringing into Doctor Strange. I mean, he's not half-assing anything.
Absolutely. And same with Tom Holland. Both are British actors.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they're both British trained. So is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah. Ewan McGregor?
Yeah. So were the Lord of the Rings guys.
Technically,
you're all like, he's what?
He's Scottish.
That's the same thing. British.
Oh,
isn't that the same thing?
Maybe. No, they would not say that. They would say
they wouldn't say that, but would the rest of the world say that?
No, I don't think so.
Are they part of the United Kingdom?
Yes, but not a part of Britain. It gets real confusing. We'll break that down in another show. But yeah, you've got the British Isles, you've got England, and then you have the United Kingdom. And those
stay tuned, folks, when Johnny learns the difference.
Yeah. Welcome back to Geography with Johnny and the Greg. Geography plus geopolitical history.
No, thank you.
We can go down that road. That's fine.
Yeah. No, we don't have to do that.
Have you ever traced back your
I want to.
angel lineage?
Yeah, I think I know for a fact it's a hodgepodge of craziness, but I'm sure I have some English, and what do you call that? British?
Yeah, sure.
If you live in England, you're British, right?
Yes.
So I think I have some British in me. I think I have Italian in me. I have a whole bunch of hillbilly in me.
Yeah, but hillbilly just means Southern. So eventually they had to come over from a boat somewhere.
Yeah. My dad, I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know how much my dad, like, and I'm talking to everybody out there. You ever have that one dad or is your dad the way my dad is, where he thinks this is what happened, but it didn't really happen? He has said that so many times that has now become the truth, because he said originally our name was Angelus and they cut it off and made it Angel.
Okay.
I asked my grandfather that. He goes, no, it's Angelina. I'm like, okay, that's Italian. Right? I was like, okay, so are we Angelina? Like, and my dad was like, no, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm like, well, one of you two don't know what you're talking about.
There should be records somewhere.
So my dad said he did that for one of, I guess, my stepsisters chipped in and gave him that little test, and they never returned it.
The DNA test?
Yeah, they never returned it.
And that's because I've done that. I've done the DNA.
Did you get something back?
Yeah, that's where I found the I mean, I already knew that there was a lot of Irish in me.
Is that why you got upset when I said same thing as British?
No, that's the DNA didn't kick in, and then I got pissed off. I got my Irish up. Like,
you were hoping for Norwegian, weren't you? Viking.
There's a touch of that in there. It's very small. It's like less than 8% DNA is shared with, but it's in there. I mean, it is.
Okay.
But that doesn't give you like the family, like it doesn't track through. Yeah, it doesn't give you the records. They just
gives you. Yeah.
They break apart your DNA and they say, okay, it matches the highest percentage of DNA matches people in this part of the world.
Right.
And that's how they kind of, and as soon as like everybody gets down to that 1% where they're like, well, this region in Africa, it's where the cradle of civilization is, like
the cradle of life.
Yeah. And they're like, everybody, once you get down to it, like 0.5%, everybody's got that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that it doesn't give you like, with the name of your great grandfather that came over the boat. But my aunt has done a lot of that research on my mother's side.
You have to pay for that, don't you?
I don't know how much she has paid for. I mean, I think she did.
Well, I mean, the Struleys have been an establishment of Broadhead since its
days. since the 1950s.
Founding fathers there.
Yeah, no, not at all. But I mean, you can track that through. I did some tracking through just to try to find out where the name Struley came from.
Okay.
And I went through, I think it was like a Mormon database, because the Mormons have, genealogy for centuries at this point.
Really?
Yeah, they do.
How do you know that?
How do I know that the Mormons track all that?
How does the Greg know that?
I don't know. I think I just learned that was part of their
part of what they do.
Part of what they do is like, yeah, they want to track back their lineage as far back as it'll go. I think partially.
Are you Mormon? No. I didn't think so.
Like they wanted to see how far back they can get to go to the founder, Joseph Smith, I think was his name. But then they said, well, this is just a cool service that we can make money off of, so let's just open it up. And so
not that being Mormons, anything wrong with it. We're just saying.
So I wanted to know, like, do I have a family crest and the heraldry and everything else?
Yeah.
And so they gave me back, I got a thing back, and reading that now, knowing what I know, I'm like, this could be anything. This really could be like,
nowadays it's really easy.
Yeah. And it is, because
just get lost.
Not too long ago, I'm like, well, let's just try this out. Let's just start Googling my last name and like changing some letters around or spellings. And what I did find was that it's Bavarian. Like the name Struley is Bavarian.
Okay.
And there's a what is now a very tiny river in Bavaria, which is part of Germany.
It's called the Struley River.
It's called the Stru. And so the people it eventually feeds into the Rhine. And the people that were from that area were called
Struleys.
I think that they were called Struleys. Now you go back and I'm like, well, where is this river? I want to see this mighty river where my people come from. The only picture I can find on Google, it's like a drainage ditch that runs next to like a power plant. It's like this sad little thing. I'm like, okay, yep, that
seems about right. This might be accurate.
Yep. One person says Mormons own Ancestry.com and several other genealogy services.
Do they really?
Yeah. And that's,
how does everybody know this shit?
I don't know.
Wow.
We watched Big Love on HBO when it was on.
That was Big Love.
That was that was a story about a dude that had 3 wives, and like he was doing the polygamy thing. And
how'd that work out? He's dead?
Eventually in the show, yes. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, that's not gonna end well.
Yeah. It was I don't know. We watched it. It was one of those shows that was like, first season was great. Second season.
Wait, is this like one of those TLCs?
No, this was HBO.
Okay, so this was a drama.
Yes.
Fiction. I almost said friction.
Yep.
Fiction. Okay.
Yep. So that was, anyway, that's not what that shows. But yeah, I mean, so I don't know why I know why I just had that the Mormons had all that, but Josh confirmed it. So thanks, Josh. Yeah. I don't know. I like family research. I like to know, like,
me too. I would love to dig in.
No, that's what I was saying. My aunt has traced back, especially on the Irish side, like pre-Revolutionary War, like pre-1700. We can trace back to this guy in Wales. I can't remember his name, who went from Wales down to Ireland to the Ulster area, lived there for a while, and then his family from Ulster came to Virginia. And pairing that with some of the DNA stuff, it would make sense that from Wales, there's a little bit up in Scotland, and from Scotland it skips over to Norway. So that's where you get the Viking thing, where the Vikings raided northern Britain, settled there for a long time.
Yep.
And then eventually pushed their way down through, it's actually, if you watch the new
Valhalla?
Viking, Von Valhalla.
Yes.
It's that time period that they pushed down into London and that Wales area.
Yeah.
And then from there, the DNA makes a jump over to Ireland. And I thought that was cool. And even researching the Irish
really
stuff,
cool.
Finding that my family lived in the Ulster area, the you can go back and find the old Ulster wall, which has this plaque, and again, it's like somebody's backyard. There's a stone wall that's been there for a really long time, and here's this plaque that says Ulster on it.
Yeah, it'd be really cool, like if you could find pictures, because I'm sure that there's somebody in your ancestry that looks just like you. I'm sure
there's been some, my dad, and it's weird because mom's side, they have and they do have a lot of pictures. I'm not going to say they don't, but they've got a lot of pictures. But then my dad's side, dad just handed me a stack of stuff. I'm like, funeral records and pictures. It really was. Yep. It was rubber banded together and put it
looked like one of those old wallets that everybody had in the 90s.
A manila envelope, and it's like, here's some family stuff.
Yeah.
But I started going through there and trying to track through, and it's weird because unless you do that, unless you kind of set, I'm interested to see where the digital age is going to push this, where I've got my Google Photos, digital, and I don't know if I can, when I die, does that just, can that be moved to my kids? Is that a possibility? Well, I mean, all the little notes, all the pictures we take now.
Oh yeah.
Because they say depending on, unless you do something amazingly big, you're going
to be forgotten.
You're forgotten within 2 generations.
Yep.
I mean, it's
a very depressing, and it makes you realize that you are just not there.
You've got this amount of time on earth to really make an impact.
Yes, you do. So live it, people. Live it.
And you're like, wow. So if I live to see my great grandchildren, maybe they'll remember me.
Yeah.
Which I think is amazing. My grandparents had great grandchildren.
Wow.
That are, I believe, old enough that they will have some memory of their great grandparents.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right when you guys are done listening to this podcast, go live life. You're not here very long.
And by live life, if you want to have great grandchildren, you got to make some babies, and you got to make them young, because that's just how it works.
Got to go to work. Go to work. So, yeah. Wow. We went from what?
Yeah. Where did we start with this?
We went from abs all
hair
the way
loss,
to
abs, jawlines
to genealogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can actually blame them for that. Thanks for not having the genealogy to have a 6-pack.
And we threw in some Moon Knight in there.
We did throw Moon Knight. Yeah.
I've had this news page up. I'm like, what are we going to talk about tonight? I don't even know.
I didn't know either. I didn't know. I was like, I have no idea. Maybe this is going to be a short podcast. And it looks like we're getting to the point of it's going to be short. Unless somebody still listening throws out something. Anything. Let us know.
Do you think, entertainment, back to entertainment news, we still haven't received any kind of trailer for the 4th Thor movie.
I heard it broke a record.
Yeah.
I don't even think they keep records like this.
Absolutely. Everybody keeps records like this. Is as long as we've ever gone, or as close as we've ever gotten. It's the same distance.
Everybody thought Taika Waititi was kidding when he was like, it's not finished.
Yeah.
But I heard Endgame wasn't finished until a week out.
I believe that. These are so effects heavy things that to put the finishing touches on it.
Yeah. Here's another thing. They're starting to throw out a little too much Doctor Strange. I'm starting to see a little too much, and I'm like, cut it out. Stop
I saw something. Yeah, a little TV trailer the other day that I was like,
yeah,
I don't want to see that.
Yeah, I didn't want to see that. Yeah, you had me at the second. You had me in the first trailer, but you had me in the second one too.
Well, that's the thing about Thor. I mean, give me a release date.
Yeah,
I'm gonna see it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Not only am I going to see it, I'm going to hold a private screening for my friends and family, and they're all going to see it at that date.
Yeah,
you
but
don't
again,
ever need to watch a trailer.
It's not for us. Those trailers aren't for us.
But who are they trying to convince? I mean,
the people that aren't Marvel fans. Like I have my aunt go, "Hey, so tell me about this Dr. Weird guy." And I was like, "You mean Doctor Strange?" And she's like, "Sure." And I'm like,
and that's just it. Are they? Is she going to go? Do you think
she actually is? She goes, "Oh, I like him. I like him. Is he anything like Harry Potter?" I'm like, "Nope, he's not like Harry Potter."
I think if you're a Marvel fan, even passing Marvel fan.
Yes.
If they just put out their, what was it, May 18th?
May 6th.
May 6th. But Doctor Strange, May 6th.
Yes.
Great. I'll be there. Or I'll as long as I know it's coming out May 6th, somewhere around there. May 6th or after, I'll be there.
No, I don't think that would work. I think you and I would go. I think you and I think the diehards would. I think what would happen when because somebody said to me, "Hey, what's the next movie you really want to see?" And I said, "Secrets of Dumbledore." And the guy goes, "What? What the hell is that?" I was like, "That's really? Fantastic Beasts, Harry Potter." He's like, "They're making a new one?" I'm like, "You don't know about this?" And if you think about it, there's no toys. There's nothing about Fantastic Beasts out there. There's nothing. They're not, unless you go to Barnes and Noble and hug a Niffler.
But I suppose, okay. So it's on, it shows up on my feeds. It's on the channels I watch it because
our algorithms know what we like.
Correct. Yeah.
So, but what I'm saying is, I think Marvel puts out the trailers now for two reasons. Number one, now YouTube's changed the game because there are people that literally make a living off of breaking down a trailer.
Really? Yeah.
How
do I get that kick?
And then they just keep breaking it down, and any kernel they get, they try to, it's a new update. And so they're rolling this hype train because they're adding in their theories of what this is, they're adding their theories of what that is.
It's free advertising them.
Yeah, exactly. And Marvel's like, yeah, we'll just throw out a few. And then to the point now where Marvel, and I think everybody's going to start doing this, is Marvel's like goofing with you. They're putting people in there that aren't in the movie, but they're putting people in that trailer, and you're like, oh, look at, they're right next to each other. Like the Infinity War, where they had Hulk running with Steve Rogers, and we thought, oh, they're all marching to just beat up Thanos. He wasn't in there. Yeah. That whole scene wasn't even in there.
Have you heard of The Ambulance?
Yes.
You've heard of it? Okay.
Yes, I've heard.
I was just reading that like no one's seeing that film right now.
I don't think it looks interesting.
It came out last weekend in the theaters, but it's a small independent kind of action piece. Jake Gyllenhaal's in it. I hear it's really good. I hear all the acting in it is amazing.
I don't think it's not independent. Michael Bay's directing that.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. You're right. That's not independent at all. Yeah. It's a Michael Bay movie, but like the general public hasn't heard about it.
Right. I know.
And they're like, people won't go see these movies in the theater anymore. They will, when you've got,
they'll stream it.
Yeah. When you've got Netflix putting out the same level of film,
yep,
people will watch those at home. The only thing you're going to go to the theater for are Marvel and
big tent movies, big movies,
big tent sci-fi action films.
I agree.
At the same time, you've got Sandra Bullock's film, Lost Island.
Oh, did you see that?
I did not, but
I want to see that.
The ladies in my family went and saw it, and they loved it. Yeah, they said it's a great film.
A lot of romancing the Stone vibe.
I hear
generation.
I hear better. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, better. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Like different types of comedy, different. Yeah. And I still love Romancing the Stone. I think that's a fun movie.
Oh, I think it's a great movie.
I remember watching the first preview for Lost City. I'm like, if some dude introduces us to his mule, this is a complete ripoff.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah.
My point was that, a lot of people aren't seeing certain types of movies in the theater anymore. They're seeing Marvel films and they're seeing like kid films. Take your kids to the theater kind of stuff.
Matt, are you listening right now? Is Matt on?
He hasn't commented if he is on. I can't see
you can't see who's on. So if Matt, if you're listening or you're on, or comment later on the YouTube or wherever you can comment on the Facebook page, does that determine how you pick your movies? Because you understand there's tent poles and there's not tent poles. Like, I hope I'm saying this right. Am I saying this right, Greg?
Like I think
that.
So.
Okay. Yeah. So just let us know if that determines what movies you're going to bring into your cinema of tent versus not tent. Like, I'm interested. Is Avatar going to get any hype? Like, do you think anybody's going to go see Avatar?
Yeah.
As much as James Cameron thinks they're going to go see it?
Well, I don't know about that. But yes, absolutely. Avatar will be. It's a Disney movie now. They've got Disney money.
It's Disney. It's Disney. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Now, that being said, I don't give a shit about Avatar.
I don't care either.
Also, that being said, I'm gonna go see it in the theater.
I'm not going to see it in the theater. I will literally wait till it comes out.
Really?
See it.
Really?
Yes.
No,
It has to. I don't know. I've realized as I'm getting older, I'm not much of a movie connoisseur like I used to be, where I had to see every movie in the theater. I'm not like that anymore. I save my money. I think I'm like the general public. I save my money for the big ones. The big ones I'm going to take time to go see.
If it wasn't for Matt and Town Cinema,
oh yeah, that's a good point.
Holding the line on their ticket prices where they are, yeah, I wouldn't see half the stuff I see in the theater.
Yeah. So, yeah. All right. Well,
47 minutes, man.
Yeah, I think we're done. Don't you?
I think so.
Yeah.
I did tag Matt, so maybe that'll get his attention that he'll watch this later. But
yeah. So, all right, man. You want to leave us?
Yeah, I'm gone.
Okay.
Yeah. Just, be a good person. Don't be a douche.
Yeah, that's it. So thank you for listening to us on a Monday. That's the Greg. I'm Johnny. We're saying podcast out, everybody. Have a great week. Take care. Bye-bye.